Hi, my name is Robert Oncoy. Thank you for joining me in today's Task 1 IELTS Writing video. Today we're looking at the pie chart with no time comparison. Now, here's a typical question that comprises of three parts. Well, obviously, the first part that you see down here is the pie chart or pie charts. Then there's the rubric, which tells you about the pie chart. Also, we have the task, which tells you what you need to do in 20 minutes. So the worst mistake that you can make once the exam begins is to start writing. Instead of putting your pen to paper and writing paragraphs, what you should do is actually make notes on the exam. What do you see? So what makes up the biggest slice? What comprises the smallest slices? Here, the biggest slices are health and fitness and less pollution. These are the two major reasons why people ride their bicycles to work. Now, the other three are roughly equal in percentage. And these make up the minority reasons why people ride their bicycles to work. We could do this to the other pie chart as well. So what makes up the biggest slices and the smallest slices here for people who drive their cars? Well, comfort and distance to work. In fact, most people drive for their comfort and traveling distance. The minority reasons here are also similar, and they make up the minority. Now, once you've done that, you might have extra time. It might be helpful for you if you have difficulty remembering the grammar and language for talking about pie charts to quickly write down some phrases so that you remember. Now, if you recall, one pie represents the total number of people surveyed. Now, if you're looking at the pie chart for cyclists and why they ride their bicycle to work, you can imagine the question would have said, why do you choose to drive or cycle to work? So 100% of the pie represents all the people who were surveyed. Now, I can make my sentence in a couple of ways. Take a look. If I use the percentage, the number as part of the subject of my sentence, I can say 30% of respondents. Respondents are people who take the survey. 30% of respondents reported cycling to work for health fitness reasons. What if I wanted to talk about health and fitness as the subject of my sentence? Health and fitness accounted for 30% of respondents' reasons for cycling to work. So now that you've got your grammar, your sentences written down, let's start writing. So the simplest way to write the introduction is to put synonyms in for some of the words. So here's our original sentence from the rubric. Pause here to read the paraphrase. Now you might decide to go for the advanced option of paraphrasing. Here you could use more complex sentences. You could break up a really long complex sentence. You might try using passive voice instead of active voice. Pause the video now and read this advanced introduction. Okay, once you're done the introduction, it's time to go to the overview. So your overview is typically 2 sentences, and one sentence gives a broad idea what the pie charts are showing you. And the second sentence tells you some other little trends that you see within. So overall, it can be seen that health and environmental reasons are the most common for cycling, while comfort and distance are the main reasons for driving. Okay, those are our 2 groups that summarize the most for both pie charts. And then I have one more sentence. Some reasons are unique to each mode of transport. So what that means is that some people cycle, and the reason for doing so is specific to cycling. While for driving, some reasons are specific to driving. Now it's time to put these groups into one paragraph. So there are different ways you could group the information. The obvious one is to talk about driving in one paragraph and cycling in another. So over here, according to the data, 30% of people cycle to work for health and fitness. This is reporting one of the key slices, and another 30% do so to reduce pollution. Nice. Now The remaining part of this paragraph talks about the 3 smaller slices of that pie. Pause the video to have a read. Now it's time to go to the second body paragraph, where we have a linking word in contrast, and we transition to talking about why people drive to work. Here I have a comparative sentence, the most popular reason for driving. I use this because, as you can see, there is one huge pie slice that's worth 40%, and that is comfort. Now, part of the majority reason is this smaller percentage, distance to work, and that appears here in the second sentence. Feel free to pause the video and read this paragraph carefully. And thank you very much. You made it this far. You come to the end. Here we're looking at a completed essay for this pie chart, and it shows what I want to see. Even without reading it carefully yet, I would say it's visible to me. There are 4 clear paragraphs, an introduction that seems to paraphrase the rubric, an overview that groups the information and identifies the major trends, and I see body 1 and body 2 grouping the information by pie chart. Yes, thank you very much for joining me here. And if you like this video and found it useful, please click like. I'll see you in the next video.